I would bet almost everybody here knows about them already.
Well, I will be very quick, Mr. Chairman. Mainly want the board to understand, frankly, what I'm doing here. This is my personal report item to each of you.
I get to back it up and let you guys take this.
Okay. You know, when you undertake a reorganization, you need to have reasons to do it, and you need to have clear objectives in mind. And I'm really approaching this from several different perspectives. First of all, from a user perspective, people don't come in and say, gee, I'd like some NSP or some CSBG or whatever. They say, I need help building a house. I need help fixing a house. I need help paying my rent. So we have organized on product lines that make sense, multifamily, single-family, and community affairs activities on the programmatic side, and created a situation in which there will be coordination and planning among our activities. Just an example, there probably aren't a lot more examples like this, but this one was so significant that I keep singing it out over and over. We had, 3 or 4 different down payment assistance products out there that were frankly kind of in competition with each other. And I said that may make sense, but it also may not make sense. Let's start talking across the silos and coordinating this. And I'm very excited that our team of single family activities are now coordinating closely, and what we've created is a situation there where they will have sort of a convener, a person who will say, all right, here are our most pressing challenges, and I'm going to take the responsibility, in addition to my daily job responsibilities, to bring you guys together and figure out what the best path forward is. Nomero Cabello is going to be taking on that mantle. He is going to be in a structure where he is going to be reporting to Brooke as the deputy for the single family and community affairs programs. And a new element has been injected there, and it's program planning and metrics. You've heard Brooke come up here and report month after month about the success of the ARA programs. A big part of that success has been Brooke and her team have taken a metrics approach to how we're doing this. She wanted to be able to look at what people were doing, use that as a basis for projecting forward where they were going to be, and using it as, frankly, kind of a foot in their backs to make sure that if you needed more money, you got more money, and if you weren't spending what you had, we were looking at taking that and putting it in the pot to be reallocated. So this is a very intentional effort to focus on moving money faster. Nobody has parties because they sign contracts. People have parties because you handed somebody the keys, you gave them home ownership, or a replaced roof, or accessibility, or whatever. So this is all about focusing on speed of expenditure. With the kinds of cross-cutting processes that we've got in place, people like Homero are going to be working with our team to find ways to expedite and streamline and make more uniform our processes. Okay, that is the thumbnail sketch on what's going on in the programmatic delivery side for single family and community affairs. You've already had a day with Cameron. You know what's going on in multifamily. We also have focused on the fact that there's allocation and expenditure, but once you've done that thing, you still got 30 years of hard work ahead of you. And we've asked Tom Gurris as the deputy to take over a combined shop that looks at asset management issues, asset resolution issues for the ones that struggle and need to be restructured or whatever, the real estate analysis issues, and the post-carryover activity that our multifamily developments encounter. So Tom has got a very, very full plate there. That involves taking some of the compliance and asset oversight functions, mainly the asset management pieces, that were in Patricia Murphy's shop previously. And how are we going to keep Patricia really busy? Well, we are going to consolidate, as soon as ARA finishes up, all of our monitoring activity in one single monitoring area, and that's going to be Patricia's new incredibly tall order. So look for, I think, greater checks and balances, more traditional banking type organizational realignments. Be looking for more efficiency, more metrics. And this is all kind of a setup to what I think is the real focus. We can reorganize and we can re-energize and we can talk about changing our processes and approaches, but we are faced with significant funding reductions that are out there on the federal horizon. It's no secret, for example, that home will probably be reducing on the magnitude of 38%. We need to look at ways to manage this ever-growing portfolio, ways to speed our expenditures, ways to do it more effectively, more efficiently. We are not a direct administration type agency. We administer things through local partners. We use subrecipients. When you look at our subrecipient network, you put a big area of the state up on a map. You might have one area that's handling weatherization, another area, another provider handling CSBG. You might have little dots where Housing Trust Fund or Home or NSP were available. So if you're a Texan and you need assistance, first of all, you may have to talk to multiple people. Second, depending on where you reside, you may not even be eligible to access all of the state's programs. If you aren't, for example, in a jurisdiction that has a contract to administer home, you don't have the ability to go and procure, home assistance directly through us. What we want to create is improvement and migration to a more robust network of fewer, larger providers who are capable of administering our programs in a way where all eligible Texans can access all of our programs. One of the real vulnerabilities I see out there in a decreasing fund situation is we do have a lot of very small providers who perhaps are, disproportionately, perhaps even exclusively reliant on just one or two funding sources. But if they're in consortiums and partnerships and moving into more robust relationships where they've got multiple funding sources coming in, then they have a greater chance of stability, a greater chance of success, and I also look at the lessons learned from ARA. The ones that really stumbled, the ones that had problems, were the ones that were very, very small, didn't have enough administrative funding coming in to have good internal controls, somebody putting out the money, somebody accounting for the money, somebody doing the monitoring, good IT systems, all of those kinds of things. We think that by encouraging consolidation within our network, it will be more manageable for us, even as we have reducing resources. It will be more stable locally, and it will be more able to address the complexities of administering these intricate federal programs. So, it's a vision. It's different. I got to say, though, ultimately, reorganization is not about moving the deck chairs. It's about changing attitudes. And, we've had really great attitudes for a long time, and we've done incredible things. The fact that we moved through ARA so successfully is, a real testimonial to many, many, many people. But, we've got to be more nimble. We've got to find ways to do it even better, and I'm convinced that with this organizational structure and, frankly, empowering the people that are on our team to do more, contribute more, and to find better ways to get these things done, we'll be more successful even with the stressed financial straits ahead. So I'd be glad to try to answer any questions.
Principally from the board. Anything from the board? It'll take a while for you to digest this and see how it's all going, but fundamentally, I gather from discussions with Tim that the entire intent is to create something that's more adaptable and nimble and flexible and capable of evolving quickly into what it needs to be without too much stasis in the structure. Okay, we want it to be very capable of adapting to what comes ahead of us, because I suspect that the funding issues are going to be continued variability in the funding on the programs we're managing.
I've got a question.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. ED, with Olmedo's expanded role, are we ever going to have the privilege of hearing him up here?
I sure hope so.
All right, very good.
I'll carry out that threat. Yeah, and just my concluding comment on it. You know, I'm intentionally not the smartest guy in the room. I always try to have around me people who are more knowledgeable and smarter than I am, and I really am committed to freeing them up to come up with better ideas. So.
Good. Thanks, Tim. Okay, report item 5. Elizabeth.